So it was about a year ago this week that we spent 100 hours homeless on the streets of LA, and I learned so much. The experience for me, and I'm very aware that it wasn't actually being unhoused, that we came into it with a lot of privilege, but I did leave with a lot of learnings, more empathy and understanding. And looking back at it now, those things start to become more real, especially this week with all the rain.
Yeah, I think our goal was really to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, to experience what they experience. So I think what we're going to do here is watch some footage of what it was like when we did this excursion.
There's a freeway overpass.
Well, look at how cold it is
about
there.
a mile from here that we're
Like you
aware
can
of,
feel the cold. I can
that
feel my body.
Stay dry. Look for cuts in the
rough.
fence.
I remember right here when we so desperately wanted to have something to keep us warm, but it was already raining, it was cold, and so all we could do was to run for the freeway overpass. Remember that dirt area?
You were so ticked. Up in all here, I was able to get some cardboard, but everything was wet.
Yeah.
Kind of honk it down.
Leaning against a concrete post. Oh, it was miserable. So uncomfortable.
And then we moved from the one at the front further back.
Yeah, look at
The rain started really coming down. But you can look already, we look older from the 4 hours before.
And we're up just trying to walk around. My body I'm in pain from the cold.
Look at the underneath my
doing
nose.
jumping jacks, trying to stay warm.
I remember you jumping up and screaming at the freeway overpass like a madman, and I'm like, he's lost it. Ken's finally gone. And that was just a few hours in.
But here, this was awesome. Remember, we walked to the donut shop.
About 10 to 6.
And we got a cup of coffee. I spent half of my $5 on a cup of coffee. $2.50, best cup of coffee I ever had. And here we are making a run for.
Tonight, we know the temperatures are going to be a lot lower.
Was that Taco Bell or the Starbucks we're running there?
We're running to.
I maybe slept an hour.
We're back in the donut shop there. There's the Taco Bell.
Being there, I would have packed it in last night. I don't know how people do it on their own.
And that's a good point. Like, being homeless is such an isolating experience.
Mm-hmm.
We never experienced that because we were together.
Yeah.
And you see so many people on the streets with no one.
But you also understand that's why oftentimes people live in encampments.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's safety in numbers.
Yeah.
You know, so here we are now making the journey to Sepulveda.
Just getting access to a toilet.
Oh gosh.
You know,
Yeah, my stomach hurts.
never in my
My
life.
stomach hurts right. I've been holding it in for hours now.
Now, you see, I'm inside brushing my teeth. Where are you?
Not brushing my teeth.
That's
I want
become a
the
recurring
full
thing.
impact. So what is it like to not take a shower? For
I
a week?
brush my teeth every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
You know, me going from housed to unhoused, I'm 2 showers a day every day.
I'm nervous because I know it's going to be super cold tonight.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Christian?
This was Christian. I remember we're sitting at the Starbucks and we see this gentleman who's homeless in the corner, and we start chatting with him, and he tells us his story that he used to be at Hope of the Valley, got him a job, and then the pandemic hit. He had moved out of the shelter in his own place, and then now he's back on the streets. And I remember for both of us, it just kind of broke our hearts to think that this guy was in our care, and then he was able to move out, and then he was in need again. He had been calling the shelter every day and couldn't get back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to call and
Yeah, you're gonna look for like a roof.
and get him in.
Something like a roof, or like we were saying, underground parking.
Yeah.
He gave us so much advice.
Go for the valley because
And then
they
he
can get
says
you back on your feet.
he had no
They
idea he
do
was
it
talking
with me, they can do it with you, they
to
can
the
do it with
CEO
anyone.
of Hope of the
Just-
Valley.
You gotta want to do it.
Yeah.
I look at these youngsters out here that are homeless. They're panhandling.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Hope of the Valley would help me?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I loved his authentic,
They don't judge.
genuine answer. They don't judge.
Really knocked me
Yeah.
back pretty hard. I'm struggling, honestly. I'm just not in a good place. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it through.
That's
time.
when the
I wanna
tiredness
carry
started
this
to hit
through.
in. See, you're
But on the
still
other hand,
a person
I'm like-
at this point. But you disappear the next day
I
or
don't
two.
know if I'm mentally tough enough. I just don't know.
But I had doubts. That
we'll
was
find
my
out
thing.
tonight.
I can't envision
'Cause
anything
because I think like I said before, I hate being tired and I hate being cold. And I made it through the first night, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm not sure if I can make it this second night. So I had my own doubts.
Pretty positive guy normally. Something's changed in me. Last night really affected me. I really want this to end now. So
I remember this. They kept asking us questions, and all I wanted to do was find a way we could get down.
Remember how hard it was to even find someplace?
I remember you everywhere. You were wanting to look, and I'm like, nope. But you had this never-ending hope that we would find this
around
oasis.
the next corner. We're gonna find it.
There's this one place with
area
mattresses.
Yeah. Such was not the case.
person sleeping on their stoop.
I always wonder whether we should have gone in there, into that parking
That parking
garage.
structure.
Pretty
Yeah.
isolated, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in a year.
Okay,
That
you're gonna
narrow
take the
area that we set up, with cardboard and stuff.
This was
there.
the gold mine, pulling out the styrofoam,
Yeah.
because it got us off the ground.
And I thought we were gonna be. This is gonna be where we're gonna be the next 3 nights. We got it until all of a sudden, like at 4 a.m. in the morning, the driver of that truck backs up.
But do you remember how cold it was?
It's a little worried about
You couldn't sleep.
You now
You-
have
It was brutal.
because we had no sleeping bags yet at this point.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m.
It was 34 degrees.
But we had blankets.
Yeah. But it was bitter cold.
But look at your eyes. Already started
It's
to
a
mess
hard
up.
place to sleep. The bed's really good. It's got us off the ground.
The bed. I'm so proud of that bed.
I've just got the worst headache.
I remember that pain.
So tired.
It was so cold.
Yeah, remember this. Oh my gosh.
And the thing next to us is moving. Well, that was a unplanned early morning wake up for us.
The first night, I wouldn't have slept more than 45 minutes. Last night, I probably got about 3 hours of sleep.
The lack of sleep affects my ability to think coherently sometimes.
Look at you there. Look at how messed up you become
Yeah.
so quick.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Like, look at your red. You look like a old English, like, drunk. Like, your nose has gone bright red, your cheeks.
yeah. Yeah.
And this is second day.
Yeah, this is after 2 nights, and just the wear and tear that it takes on your body, sleeping in the elements, sleeping on the concrete.
Nobody should be subjected to this.
No.
This isn't what we should allow in society.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing around mentally between things.
I'm not sure if I make it tonight.
Yeah, we found ourselves literally looking in dumpsters to see what can we use to help us in our journey, whether it's food, whether it's supplies,
Well,
anything.
look at our backpacks. They were empty when we went out, and we just packed it in.
$20. Doesn't feel like it.
And I remember the fact that we were able to, the 2 kind, generous real estate gentlemen were able to give us a gift card for $50 so that we could get these sleeping bags. That was huge.
This right here, where we're talking about being in a tent, that decision to
Oh,
make
yeah.
yourself vulnerable,
Yeah.
that you might be a little bit warmer, but you're afraid someone could attack you.
I would rather have my eyes where I could see.
Just relax.
I remember how good that felt just to have the sun on my face and a little bit of trail mix.
Those people gave us the trail mix.
Yeah,
There are some kind, good people.
yeah.
But look at my hair. Like you're talking 2 nights. Your body's not. Now this is where you lose your mind.
I know.
Some things that happened today that really upset me. The way people treated me. And I wanted to fight back and say, I'm not even homeless.
Yeah, I remember because I shop at that Vons. I use the bank there at the Wells Fargo, and the only difference between any other day that I would be on that property and that particular day is that I was dirty, I had a backpack, and I had all appearances of being homeless and was discriminated against for the very reason, or for the fact that I looked homeless for no other reason. And it was, having lived a fairly privileged life, it was a bit of an eye-opener to me that people would truly judge people based on the way they look and not, for deeper significant issues like the character of their hearts.
But it really affected you.
Yeah.
And I think the exhaustion, and you can tell at this point, the anxiety in both of us is through the roof.
Yeah, my patience level was next to none.
At that point, I kind of lost it. And I said, you don't even know who I am.
Yes, sir. You're wrong.
I said, I'm the CEO
He
of
says
Hope of the
no,
Valley.
but what other reason would you kick me off the
Don't treat
property?
people this way. I said, the reason you treated me this way is because you thought I was homeless.
I love Angry Ken. I love Angry Ken. Look at you. But here's the thing. If you were actually unhoused, there's no protection for you at this moment. There's not
Right.
people standing around to help you.
Right.
And if you react badly...
One of the reasons that I
It's just
wanted to
justification
come here.
for why they're doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
And to have that empathy and to it just kind of caught me off guard because I didn't expect it at that moment.
Still searching through
Oh, the
bins.
cardboard.
But look at how much more stuff's in our
No,
backpacks.
well, I'm just looking at it.
Everything we can find.
You're excited.
Did you hear that? I'm just looking at it. I'm just
Yeah.
judging whether this cardboard box could
it's
be
funny
good.
because your standards drop, and now I'm excited about cardboard. It's like, oh, there's cardboard,
And it's dry.
Yeah, it's so,
But that's the thing. You put people in this environment and they slowly start getting pushed down to pure survival.
Right.
This isn't living.
Right.
All we're trying to do at this point is survive. And that's so different to the person who's living in a car, trying to maintain a job, or the person who's in a pay-by-the-night sort of motel
Yep.
and trying to keep a
Yeah.
job. Once you've hit this street homeless,
yeah,
there's no way out.
yeah. I
We couldn't have kept a job at this
other
point.
than the help that you can receive from others.
I don't like the nights.
That's an
I
understatement.
don't like the days either.
You okay?
I remember this
Oh,
woman
yeah.
just,
She stayed in the rain.
she
The whole
couldn't
time.
move. Physically, she was handicapped. She couldn't move.
She says, I got wet. She just sat there as she got drenched.
It's coming next week. Yeah. Please stay safe, okay? Okay.
We got this. But
And obviously she had mental disabilities.
one thing I think we'll learn is you can't
Now,
rely to be in the
staying
same place
here,
I'm being
that was the thing, constantly having to move spots every night
Yeah.
because you're just being kicked out. No wonder once people get into an encampment, they lock it up.
And I did feel safe there because we had a wall on one side, a small retaining wall on the other. We were kind of out of sight, other than the fact that some kids must have known we were there. Were throwing, I guess, some oranges at us.
But this moment here,
Yeah.
I remember this nice guy who just saw a couple of people shivering,
Yeah.
walked up to give you a blanket.
Yeah.
I had never heard
Yeah.
someone scream with terror. You grabbed my arm, I had marks, a week later. It
Yeah.
was incredible, the
Yeah.
fear that you had in that moment.
It really, really terrified me.
Mm.
I just had no idea who it was.
Go first close.
Oh, so this is security guard. Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay, we're moving.
Okay, but again, just a reminder that there's really no place to
But
go.
this is
that you're
about
not-
4 a.m.
Yeah. There's no place to go where you're not harassed
Last night,
and
two
persecuted.
orange eyes.
Last night was really rough. I don't like sleeping in the park. We had some
So
things
here we go
going on.
again. Before the sun comes up,
Oranges and
we're on our
bottles.
journey.
But look, at
Plastic.
this point we've picked
person
up
said,
the...
hey, and I looked up and I see this person standing there.
This is you
and
telling
I
the story of that
screamed
guy over the
at top
top.
of my lungs. It was just involuntary. I
I was so afraid. You know, and I grab Rowan, and he goes, this guy goes, no, I'm just
See, this is where the
blanket, I'm just
mumbling
bringing you a
started.
blanket." You know, and I go, okay.
Like it
okay,
affected
thank you,
your
thank you.
rhythm
But
of your
it
speech.
Just your
man,
cognitive abilities.
For the next hour, I was just trying to get my
Oh, I
heart
remember.
rate
I remember this. Yeah, I had so much adrenaline pumping through me after this guy came in. I just had such a hard time getting my heart rate to even come down. But that's that vulnerability factor when you have no walls around you, no roof over you, you're exposed. You're basically sleeping with one eye open, so you're almost in this semi-comatose state, trying to sleep, but you don't want to sleep. And then something like that happens, you know, that startles you, that just frightens you. You feel that anything could happen to you because you're not protected. There's no locking
You
door.
also become that place where everyone is suspicious.
Yeah.
Everyone's the enemy. And then we wonder why homeless folk, you know, people that we serve, people who are unhoused, immediately their reaction is fight.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Distrust, you know, of others.
We're making a mad dash to get down to the McDonald's, where we know we'll have access to bathrooms and it'll be dry.
My daughter's school's about 2 or 3 blocks just up that street. I think I'd break down if I saw my daughter. I don't want her to see me like this. I don't want her to see me struggling, smelly.
I remember
Just
the
feeling-
shame that I had. And for no reason, I had this deep shame of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you commenting that my head was slung low. And for me, it just felt
Your
in my gut.
self-esteem and your sense of worth and value takes a beating. And that's why so many times I think we see homeless individuals just kind of shuffling around, just going from place to place. They're not interacting. They've been beaten down by the system. And
Whether
by
it's
lack
being
of support.
discriminated against or the very fact that you're now going through trash
Yeah.
just to survive.
Incredibly not worthy. And I don't really know why. I don't know what.
I remember that feeling
why
so
I feel
strongly.
like I've done something wrong or
Yeah.
I'm not enough. But I just feel so ashamed of how I am right now.
I'm like so fed up.
It was
trying to
so
find
wet.
some place to sleep. Everywhere you
Yeah,
go,
gosh,
every
remember-
turn you make.
Everywhere we went, there's a
obstacles,
spotlight, there
barriers.
was security
We got
guards.
a security camera.
This here, look at your face here, red shirt, the beanie. That is the moment I remember clearly thinking something could go wrong. He could have a stroke or something. Your speech was slurred, your eyes were glazed over. Ken, you just looked like crap. And I was really worried for you. And you think about when we see people come into our shelters, how they make this miraculous transformation, and you think they must have been out there for years.
Mm-hmm.
You turned into this in 4 nights.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That you can't stay on the
Right
streets.
there.
doesn't take long.
Staring at me.
Smashed at the front.
And I remember
Smashed
when
at the back.
you called me and said, "Ken, I found this car." I'm like, "Oh no, now what?"
That car was a lifesaver.
And I was like, "I am not sleeping in someone's car."
But look at it. Smashed at the back, smashed at the front.
Yeah, once I looked at it, then I started to think, "Ugh."
I remember
It's still
going,
illegal,
but
though.
how am I going to get into it? And I was hoping, you know, for something. And I started to think, what if I laid
Crawl
down in
into
the
the
trunk?
back.
What if I just laid in the trunk?
Yeah.
You know, they put bodies in the trunks.
Yeah.
I've seen mafia movies.
Yeah.
I'm at the place where I'm going, I'm not going to be laying on the ground again.
Yeah,
I have to be
it's
off
the
the ground.
extremes that people will go to because self-preservation is probably one of the most powerful forces on earth. And so our desire to protect ourselves, to preserve ourselves, for me, it even meant, you know, compromising values that I normally would not. That's not my
Look at
car.
this.
Breathing,
Look
the
at-
whole thing's going to go foggy. You can lay down now and sleep. Sleep
I'm
and
so
then-
nervous about it. I'm looking around. I'm like, this is a security guard's card, and it's open.
I know.
And in I go.
to play by the rules.
All I could see is the police coming.
And this is my justification.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here. You don't
You're
want
in
me
a
here.
car that's been totaled.
It's sitting abandoned in a parking lot.
Have you ever thought what would have happened if we didn't find that? We couldn't have stayed out another night.
We would have been out another night, just like everybody else. I mean,
I don't know. I think you could have done
The fact
real
that This
damage.
car will never run again.
Here's you
This is
justifying
outlaws.
again.
I had to.
I know.
I don't
Yeah.
think you would have done this.
Because it's not my car.
No.
It's someone
I'm
else's.
sure you would have done
I don't
it
have
second
anyone's
time.
permission to be in there.
But it was the trauma
belongs to
after
someone.
trauma after trauma where you're like, I need
And I'll be
this.
honest,
You're done.
it wasn't that comfortable.
Walking around.
I remember when you got in, your stink hit me so hard. And I was like, my God, Ken, because it was like a wet dog. And I'm like, why?
I wanted you to experience the full dimensions.
God, I did, but
2 hours trying to find some place that we could.
but look at listen to your speech rhythm.
And
It's so messed up.
I'm like half asleep, too.
No, but you were like that all day.
I'm a little bit unsure of
Okay,
what
now
to feel.
we're on the final stretch home.
Having a shower.
Stopping at that park before the final journey.
Because I'm not
I just remember it
excited
getting
about
cold every
Do
night.
it that first night won. And I'm going to die trying to make sure that no one is left. It's not right.
You know, it really makes me sad
That fire in me stayed.
because we
Like we have to get everyone
experienced
in.
things we could have never experienced in any other way. We
Yeah.
felt the rejection. We felt the alienation. We felt the fear. All those feelings. We may not have the full experience, but we sampled it. So for me, it's bittersweet.
And, you know, we set out 100 hours previously to really experience what others experience. And again, we weren't homeless. We were homeless for a period of time. But for me, it really gave me a good taste of what people go through and made me, as a leader, just reinforce my convictions, my values, that this is not okay, and we cannot normalize encampments and people living on the streets, and we must do what we can to bring people inside, because as we've said, you know, living on the streets, it's impossible to stay sober, sane, and safe.
That's right.
And we've got to bring people in. And, you know, when we said it was bittersweet here, because you and I, it was over. We knew we were going to go home, take a shower, sleep in our beds, and okay, you know, the 100 hours is done. But it's not done for the 70,000 people that still live homeless on the streets of LA.
And this scale of it, 70,000. We say it so quickly. There are 70,000 people who are in the elements this week.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
Moms, dads, kids, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles. Yeah.
You guys are back. Oh my God. Good to see you.
I'm glad to see you guys.
I was so self-conscious of how dirty I was. Just always.
Now you know how we felt.
Yeah. And I would just say the struggle is real. Every day was a grind. It was, how are we going to get through this day? Every day is about survival. And that's not living.
Humans are not made to live like that. I don't truly understand how people survive.
You know, that's one thing that I took away. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was definitely an eye-opener and a heartbreaker.
God, I love Christian.
Yeah.
I'm so proud he got out.
Yeah.
You know, just seeing it again, you're just brought back to, we have to bring people inside. We visited tragedy for a moment. It wasn't real for us. We understand that we went into it with privilege, that we knew when it was going to end. But I know for me, I know for Hope, and I think for you as well, I'm going to spend the rest of my life. We have to bring people in. And Hope won't stop moving forward until there is no one else left on the streets.
And I think our immediate response to this journey was purchasing 4 motels, 181 residential units, 724 beds that's going to open. And it's still it's a drop in the bucket, but 724 beds in the next year, that's huge. And that'll bring our bed total up to 2,200.
That's
And
incredible, isn't it?
for us as an agency, that we're not going to quit, we're not going to give up until truly housing is, or not housing, but shelter is a universal right.
You know what captures me here is this is just one facet of people living on the streets. There are the people who are in encampments, in tents, who are surfing people's couches, and those living in cars. I think that's the story I hear more and more, is people trying to hold down a job in cars.
Yeah.
This was an incredible experience for me, and I think it changed who I am as a leader, but also just as a man.